I bought in for $100,000 onto one of the most historic poker shows in the world, The Big Game. I'll be facing off against Jason Kuhn, Lex Veldhuis, famous comedian Morgan Jay, and one of the craziest high-stakes poker players in the world, Alan Keating. That $100,000 buy-in? Yeah, that's not for show. We're gonna put it to the test today as I played 3 of the biggest pots of my life, $95,000, $112,000, and even a $125,000 pot.
I feel really good. Woke up. Think I want to make 100K today?
I'm seated at the table with more chips in front of me than I've ever bought in for before. $100,000, more than 4 times bigger than my largest cash buy-in of $25K. And you see it right away, the nerves get the better of me here when Veldhuis opens the button and Alan Keating 3-bets to 3,800. This should probably just be a 4-bet, but I'm not trying to play a $200,000 pot with Alan Keating in the very first hand, so instead I just call with pocket 10s, which brings Lex in as well.
Lex calls as well with 7s.
Oh boy, I'm trying to stack one of you two right now.
We're going 3 ways to a flop and it doesn't come great. Ace 4-3 with 2 diamonds. When Alan bets out for 8K, I fold my cards. I let my hand go. It turns out he had king queen of diamonds. There wasn't a card in the deck that could come on the turn or river that would get him to slow down. But then we pick up king queen of spades now from the big blind. Veldhuis opens it up from the button and Keating puts in the call. This would be a great spot to come in for a raise somewhere around $12,000, but my nerves are still showing. This is the biggest cash game of my life and I'm just scared to put more money in the middle, so I just call here saying that I'm getting good odds, but I really gotta go for the squeeze. But instead we flop top pair and a backdoor flush draw on a queen 7-6 2-diamond board. The action checks over to Lex. He goes for a c-bet of $3,200, and when Alan calls, I'm in an interesting spot. I obviously could just call here, but I'll be in between both opponents for the rest of this hand. I also could check raise large and try to get value versus the open-ended straight draws as well as the front door flush draws, but like I said before this hand started, I'm still playing a little bit scared money. I just put in the call and the turn now comes the 4 of clubs. The action checks through, bringing in the jack of hearts on the river. Hopefully no one improves to queen jack being 2 pair. Actions on me. I bet out for $12,500. We lose Lex and the action's back over to Alan and he wants to chat me up a little bit.
How do you feel on the inside? Nervous or comfortable?
I'm a Midwest kid. I'm always comfortable. I'm gonna take a sip of strength.
I couldn't stomach being bluffed after just 10 hands or so.
And luckily it works out. I must have said something that he picked up on and I got him to put more money in the middle, 12.5K to be exact, and I'm taking down a $43,000 pot versus A7 of hearts. He called me down with just 3rd pair. I profit $24,500 in just that hand alone, and now my stack is up to $120,000, the most that it's ever been in my entire life.
Nice bet.
Thank you, Mr. Keating. That means a lot coming from you.
It does?
Yes.
All right.
Alan Keating's winning streak at the PokerStars Big Game on tour has come to an end at the hands of a player known for his antics at the table.
I'm always laughing, having jokes, needling people. I got the bang stickers. Dude, I'm just like this guy at the table that's gonna have fun. So the bang sticker originated on the YouTube vlogs. When I'd hit a set or a big hand, the graphic would pop up on the screen. I would yell, bang, we flop a set. But then I got the idea to put it on people. So over the course of my career, I banged almost everyone that I've played with in a big pot. If there's an opportunity to put a sticker on someone, I'm banging them.
The one we played was sort of small, so it's gotta be bigger.
We then go 6 ways to a flop, which comes A7-5. I have middle pair and an open-ended straight draw. The flop checks through, bringing in the king of diamonds on the turn. Lex fires out for 6 grand. Keating calls. I put in the call, and the loose cannon does as well. We're going 4 ways to the river, which comes the 9 of hearts, puts a 4-liner to the straight, and look at that, I have it. The action checks over to me, and there's $31,200 in in the middle, I decided to bet a chunky $21,000, and yes, that's all real money. The action's back over to Moy, aka the loose cannon, and what will he do? Obviously, as he's tanking and not thinking about raising, I definitely want him to call. He could have two pairs or sets, and when he puts in the call, I'm licking my chops. I turn over my straight, only to see that Moy has 10-6 offsuit. He has the better straight, decided not to raise, which kind of puts me in a weird headspace because I thought I was winning that hand, and now I'm stuck around $8,000 on the day. In this next hand, there's an $800 straddle from Alan Keating. Yeah, let me just pause for a second and repeat that. Alan Keating put on the $800 straddle, so this hand is effectively playing like 400, 800. Yeah, biggest game of my life by far. Morgan J min raises to $1,600 because, let's face it, he's a goofy guy, and the action's back over to Alan Keating, who now 3-bets to $5,000. On me now, what do I do with pocket fives, $4,200 to call, and I'm gonna go set mining here. In the biggest game of my life, I put in the call, and we're going 3 ways to the flop when Morgan puts in the call as well. The flop comes a juicy 7, 6, 5, bang, we flop bottom set, and let's hope my opponents don't have 7s or 6s, but instead have an overpair. I'd be going for maximum value. Unfortunately though, the action checks through, bringing in a scary card on the turn being the 9 of clubs. Any 8 has a straight, and the action checks over to Morgan, who now bets out for $13,000. Alan Keating pretty quickly calls, and now I'm thinking about what to do. Morgan tells me to have some fun and put in the call. Well,
let's have some fun. We're all friends here. Let's have some fun.
I don't want to be rude. Bottom set, of course, I'm going to put in the call, Morgan, and let's see a river.
As you wish, Morgan, as you wish.
The river comes the 8 of clubs, putting the straight on the board, and Alan Keating does what he does best and puts you in a gross spot when he leads out for $35,000. I'm almost positive I had Alan beat before that river card came out. I think Morgan is more likely to have the 8 than Alan, but when Alan fires out for 35 and I'm not closing the action, it's just a really, really gross spot. My set of 5s is now reduced to just playing the board. There's $90,000 in the middle, and it'll cost me around half my stack to put in the call for the chop. Well, I didn't get invited on this show because I'm a nit. It's because I have a lot of YouTube followers and I do fun stuff like put in the call for 35 grand. Morgan is forced to fold. What did he have? Ace-8 offsuit for the turn straight. He looks disgusted, lets it go, and Alan looks over at me and says he's playing the board. That's music to my ears.
Play the board? I also play the board.
Wow, you guys are sick puppies.
That was the biggest pot of my life.
I had an 8. Yep. I had an 8.
But instead, we're both chopping up Morgan J's money, $10,000 to be exact, and this $125,000 pot ends in a chop, but I will say, this is the biggest pot of my life.
That was a big pot, and Morgan lost. I'm gonna bang him.
Oh, no.
On behalf of me and Alan, you get banged.
Go ahead. Thank you so much.
Where do you want it? Right on that beautiful
Thank you so much.
salmon-colored shirt.
Everyone loves a chop pot, but I really do not.
Thanks, Morgan. Hey, everyone take the board.
I want to take the whole pot home with me and donate it to my checking account.
Morgan couldn't find the call, so he had to get punished with the bang sticker. Put it right on his chest.
You guys really needed a close-up of this? Get in there. Get in close if you want to see it. The disrespect. The disrespect was palpable.
I started the day with $100,000 and my stack is around 94K. I'm stuck 6 grand, but this is a great spot to win some money back with pocket jacks from the big blind. We're still playing the $800 straddle. It's a massive game, and Morgan clicks it to $1,600 from the +1 with pocket 9s. Lex 3-bets, Alan Keating calls, and this is a pretty clear 4-bet, especially against all these action players, but I've been playing a little bit scared money pre-flop and just decide to put in the call, and we're going 4 ways to the flop. The flop, of course, comes ace 10 7. When you have jacks, there's probably going to be a queen, king, or an ace, and you just don't really know how to proceed. But the action checks through on the flop and also on the deuce of hearts turn, bringing in the 7 of clubs on the river. So when the action checks over to Lex, yes, I got tricky on the flop, turn, and river and checked it over to him, but now he fires out for 12 grand, and of course I bluff catch. He turns over jack king off, and we're taking down a $45,000 pot, and now my stack is back up to 122 grand.
Is that a bang? Is that bang worthy?
No, it's not big enough.
Not big enough? How big is it gotta be for a bang?
I don't know. A little bit more exciting than that. I just caught him bluffing. It wasn't like I outplayed him or something crazy.
Wolfgang is definitely too shook to bang Lex or Jason.
A quick reminder that my Good for Poker and Wolfgang box logo t-shirts and hoodies are still on my website, shopwolfgang.com, and don't forget, I'll be selecting 15 of you guys and giving away a trading card of Wolfgang Poker slabbed by tag and signed. I'll be putting those in random packages, so make sure you get your hoodies, your t-shirts, and your hats while they're still available. Shopwolfgang.com, link down in the description. Morgan opens to 800 in this next hand, and Alan 3-bets the button. I find myself in the small blind with king queen offsuit, decide to put in the call, and Morgan does as well. We are going 3 ways to the flop, and it gives me top pair on a queen jack 3 2-heart board. The action checks over to Alan. He has position on the button and fires out for $4,000, to which I quickly oblige.
Wolfgang calls as a strong favorite with top pair.
And for Morgan, this is probably just a fold.
Clock.
Morgan folds his 8-9 of clubs and immediately gets punished with the 10 of clubs on the turn. He would have turned the queen high straight.
Morgan, your straight would have been no good. Alan has a straight to the king.
I check it over to Alan, and he fires out now for $15,000, almost the size of the pot. This is starting to get a little bit ugly, although Alan could easily have a flush draw, a pair plus straight draw, kind of like mine, but he could also have a hand like ace king. He could have a set. He could have 2 pairs. So I'm gonna put in the call, but I'm gonna be wary on the river. If he goes for a large bet, being a polarizing sizing, I'm gonna have my antennas up and maybe make a big fold. Now with 47,800 in the middle, the river comes a brick. It's the 3 of spades. I check it over to Alan, hoping to get to a cheap showdown, but that's exactly the opposite of what he does. Into the $48,000 pot comes a massive overbet, $65,000. By far the largest bet I've ever faced in my life. The pot is now $112,800. If I put in the call, it would be by far the biggest pot of my life, and can I hold on? I have no idea what Alan has.
Huge overbet.
Really sick spot for Wolfgang, up against a maniac with a blocker to the nuts.
He could easily have a busted straight draw, a busted flush draw, something of that nature, but by that same logic, he could have any 2 pairs. He could have a 3 even. So at the end of the day, I decide to let my hand go. I have exactly 100,000 in my stack. It's what I started the day with, and even though taking down this pot would be life-changing, to be honest, beating Alan Keating in the biggest pot of my life, I'm gonna pick a better spot, and we get rewarded. We can see now he had king 9 offsuit, the turn straight, the king high straight. We get away from it with my top pair, blocking king 9 and ace king, and saving myself another $65,000 in the process. It's time to lock back in. We're 6 ways to the flop here in a 10-8 deuce 2-heart board, and I'm sitting with jack 7 of hearts. Veldhouse bets out for $500. I call, and then Jason Kuhn raises it up to $4,200, to which I'm the only taker.
Out of position against one of the best in the world? Yeah, sign me up.
World's most experienced no-limit hold'em bomb pot player.
Sign me up.
We're off to a turn, which comes the king of spades. There's $16,000 in the middle, and Jason bets out half the size of the pot for 8 grand. Now I could just call here with my jack high flush draw and my gutter to the straight. but that's the passive route. I think an aggressive good player would go for a check raise here and put a lot of pressure on his one pair type of hands and possibly get him to fold, if not set up a river bet that would definitely get him to fold a lot of weaker hands that obviously had my jack high beat. But I decide just to put in the call here, allowing the 3 of clubs to peel off on the river. It wasn't the heart or 9 we were looking for, and now we're left with our tail between our legs in a $32,000 pot. I check it over to Jason, and he would have folded to a check raise on the turn for sure when he checks back on the river with queen 10 of diamonds. He was just trying to get to a showdown and ends up making $19,000 worth of profit in this one hand alone. I think this was a big mistake here by me, not check raising the turn and getting him off this hand. Maybe he calls the turn, but then he definitely would fold the river. I costed myself $32,000 in the process. Morgan then raises it up to $1,600, and Alan and myself both put in the call. 3 ways to the flop, which comes queen 4-4, and I'm sitting with king 8 of clubs from the big blind. The action checks through on the flop, bringing in the 10 of spades on the turn. Action checks through once again, and you're probably wondering, Wolfgang, why are you including this hand when it's only $7,200 to the river and there's been no action? Well, when the river comes to 3 of diamonds and the action checks over to Morgan, he fires out for $3,000 and Alan just calls. Well, if I call here, I'm definitely not going to be good against some ace highs and pairs, so obviously I had to have done something tricky, and I did. I went for the check raise up north to $13,700. The thought process was, after the flop and turn check through, I just don't think anyone has a queen in their hand or even a 4. At best, I think Morgan might have a 10 here, or maybe a hand like pocket 9s, pocket 8s, trying to go for thin value against a hand that Alan could have like ace 9, ace 8, king jack, something like that might get curious and put in the call. So when Alan just calls the 3K, I think he's pretty capped. He's never gonna have a 4 or a queen, so I like this raise by me. If I can get through Morgan, I'm definitely gonna get through Alan, and after a little bit of tanking, Morgan folds queen 9 offsuit. My read was a little bit wrong. Somehow Morgan checked the flop and the turn with top pair, but then releases when I go for the strong check raise on the river. Alan indeed had ace high and lets it go as well, and I turn over the king 8 of clubs, flashing it in Morgan's face. I get rewarded with a $27,000 pot. Bang! This next hand I haven't been able to get out of my head since the day of filming. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button to see more crazy content like this in the future. Alan opens it up to $1,800, and I find myself on the button in position on him with the ladies, pocket queens. How large should I go?
I get to do this against Alan Keating. This is gonna be so sick.
What is this? What are you doing?
I get a Cinco de Mayo, Alan Keating. Cinco de Mayo, baby, it's a fiesta.
Did he mean to make it 5,500?
Oh, I did it wrong. I'm such an idiot. Wow.
Yeah, you can tell I'm a little bit nervous. I make it 6,400 instead of 5,500. It's a live misclick, and of course, I'm gonna get needled by the entire table. Hopefully that doesn't end up biting me in the ass. Alan, of course, puts in the call. We're heads up in position to a flop with nearly $14,000 in the middle, and he checks it over to me on a 10-6-4 rainbow board. I decide to get a little bit tricky and check behind here. In hindsight, I don't love it. I want to get value versus Alan. He's going to call me with any pair here, being a 6-7 type of hand. Pause if you know that 6-7 joke. He now decides to bet out into me for $7,000, and I think this could go one of two ways. I could just call here on this now fairly connected board, or I could raise, trying to target some of his one pair or his straight draw or flush draw type of hands, and I decide to go the second route, put in the $7,000, and off to a river we go in a $28,000 pot, which comes a board pairing 6 of hearts. It's interesting because it makes it less likely he has a 6, but it obviously brings in the backdoor heart draw. Alan, now into the $28,000 pot, goes for another overbet, $34,000. But with pocket queens here, after checking the flop and not raising the turn, my hands are tied together. I have to put in the call, and I'm gonna be losing the second biggest pot of my life, $96,000, when Alan turns over 5-6 of diamonds. He called my 3-bet pre-flop. I checked the flop. He bet the turn and rivered 3 of a kind. What a gross spot here, losing a nearly 6-figure pot. Queens versus 6-5 of diamonds. I'm in commanding shape pre-flop, only to get rivered by Alan Keating himself.
Advice, after you misclick that Cinco de Mayo, just take those cards. I don't care if it's 2 black aces and just whip them in the muck. It's never coming back to you after that misclick.
Oh, here it is.
Hey. I was gonna do just some poker, saloon type music. You like how it sounds, dealer?
Mackenzie.
Pocket deuces never loses.
This is already a platinum song.
Pocket deuces never loses unless Alan Keating's holding aces. But who knows what he's playing? Goofy ass ranging.
That's what I was saying.
There we go. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
That was like awesome.
Yeah, if it gets 2 billion streams, you might make enough money to reload 5K.
My stack has been crippled all the way down to $35,000. I'm stuck 65 grand on the session, but even though I've been knocked down, I'm not out of the game just yet, and I pick up a good hand here, ace jack of hearts. I got 2/5 of a royal flush, and I'm definitely gonna battle. Alan opens it up to $1,800 from the +1, and now I decide to 3-bet to $5,000, to which he calls once again. When the flop comes king 9-3 with 2 diamonds, he checks it over to me. I c-bet for 4K, and he puts in the call. The turn comes a board pairing king of hearts, and he doesn't check it over to me. Instead,
boom goes the dynamite.
$14,000 into $19,000.
he leads out into me for $14,000, would only leave me with 11,000 more behind, so I pretty much have to shove or fold, and I don't even have a flush draw or a straight draw. I'm just left with ace jack high. I decide to fold my cards, and it turns out he had the worst of it, 6-4 offsuit. So he made the best hand in the last one, he bluffs me in this one. I'm zigging when I should be zagging, and it cost me a $33,000 pot, and now my stack is an embarrassingly low $23,000. He's coming after everyone. I think he's played like almost every hand he was dealt.
Yes, sir.
I've lost a good amount of money, but that's just part of the game, right? I'm still trying to be positive, show people you can take a chance and get knocked down and then get back up. So hopefully I can make back some of that money. All right, another fun spot here. Alan opens the button to $1,800 off of a $500,000 stack. Kind of crazy. I decided to 3-bet him to $5,500. I probably could just shove as well. I think I'll get light action from him after all the damage he's done to me tonight. But Jason Kuhn wakes up with a hand in the big blind, and he 4-bets to $15,500. He chooses a nice Cinco de Mayo sizing there, and when Alan folds his cards, I decide to get it in there. I've never seen a Cinco de Mayo that I didn't like.
It's another one of my things from my shorts.
Good luck, my man. I don't have much with that kind of speed, but we're doing it. You wanna go?
My goodness, first all
You call it once or twice, whatever you want.
Good luck, man.
I normally do once, but I don't want to leave, so twice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, running it twice means effectively the pot is split in 2.
Let's rip it for $23,200, and he doesn't love it, but he puts in the call. We're gonna run it 2 times. Usually I'm a one-time type of guy, but when I'm on case money here, it's a $50,000 pot. I would love to just win half, especially when he turns over ace queen offsuit. He has me absolutely dominated. I'm in a gross spot here, blind versus blind, and just like my hat says from Phil Locke, I'm starting to question everything.
Jack 7-6 with one spade.
The first board gives me a sweat when I pick up a gut shot to Broadway, but of course I brick it. A little bit more of the same on the second board, except we pick up a gut shot to chop, and I brick it again. We lose this $50,000 pot to Jason Kuhn, one of the best poker players in the world, but he's also a good friend, and he's a great ambassador for poker. I'm demoralized that I lost my $100,000 buy-in, and I don't have any more time to play with these legends at the table. Good luck to everybody on the felt, especially the loose cannon Moy. I'm rooting for you, buddy. You gotta pay for that wedding somehow.
Damn, I'm gonna miss out on all your songs.
It's okay.
Wolfgang choosing not to reload. He leaves the table.
Another one bites the dust. Went all in and he double bust. Wolfgang, you will be missed. And now I'm gonna double stack my chips.
They ask me if I want to rebuy for another $100,000, but the YouTube money isn't that good, I promise you guys. And we get needled on the way out with another song from Morgan J. When it's all said and done, this was the largest buy-in of my life and the largest loss of my life. I played 3 of the biggest pots of my life against Alan Keating, being the largest one, $125,000, a mark that has yet to be broken. Like always on this channel, I keep it 100 with you guys, and for full transparency, this was the only game of my life that I did accept staking. When PokerStars reached out to me to see if I wanted to play the big game on tour, and I heard that it was going to be 100, 200, 400, 800. I obviously said I wanted to play, but the game was a little bit too big, so we worked out a deal, and even though you're seeing I'm losing $100, not all of that was mine. A huge thank you is in order to PokerStars for considering me for this incredible opportunity. The big game on tour was one of the shows I used to watch when I was 10 years old and what got me into poker in the first place, so to have this full circle moment and be playing on it in Las Vegas and play the biggest pot of my life, even though I lost it, is still a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And last but not least, I recognize that I wouldn't be in this position without the support of you guys, so a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. I lost 100 grand, but it's not a total L. I made a sick video, made a bunch more friends along the way, and I played on one of the most iconic shows to ever exist, the big game on tour. If you like this video, there's 2 more on your screen right now. Click one of those to keep on watching. Hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't already. Go check out my merch at shopwolfgang.com. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!